only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We'll bring you the news and reviews of your favorite brews. My name is Dan Baker. I'm joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and the demented and fermented,
Wayne Baker.
Man, it's like we forgot how to use technology, but we're here. We made it. This is our first on-site recording at a brewery in over 2 years, and it couldn't happen to be at a better brewery. We're sitting here at Poor Man's Brewing, and normally I like to have the guests introduce themselves. We have a rotating panel of guests and technological limits, so I'm just going to go right down the list. We have joining us here in person Ryan Foltz and Mike King. Joining us via Zoom/phone, we've got Dean Pierce, Sam Sun, and Shannon Benhoff. One and all, thank you for joining us.
Woo!
And thank you for being patient while we figured out all the technical stuff, because, man, it worked at home, but it didn't work here.
Yeah,
we figured it out.
This was a little bit painful to set up.
But hey, we made it. That's the important part. We're drinking good beers, we're in good company, and we're in person, which is kind of new again for us.
Yeah, we're sitting here. We're looking at tanks. We got fermenters behind us, and it's been a long time.
We're on our 17th beer already because
Yeah.
we've
I
been
know.
here for
I
6
know. 'Cause
hours.
Because we've been setting up for 45 minutes trying to get all this technology to work.
Oh, man. Well, we do have a lot that we're going to get into because we have such a large panel of guests. And again, thank you to everybody. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way. You know where to find us on the internet, but if not, here's the reminder. At Beer Busters on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. On Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. Don't forget, there's also beerbusterspodcast.com, where you can add cool things like /shop. And there's YouTube. We are Beer Busters Podcast. And, of course, patreon.com/beerbusters, where as little as $1 a month gets you access to cool things like a behind-the-scenes feed. And you get access to the archive of punishment videos and outtakes and such. Which,
I briefly thought today, I was like, we're going to be in person. We totally could do a punishment of some sort. But I was like, and I'm glad I decided against it, because given the absolute disaster,
you
that
should have
this
filmed
entire-
that for the punishment.
Yeah,
that was
that
a punishment.
the punishment.
That was the punishment to everybody
it was-
involved.
Yeah, a punishment from everyone here
Woo!
besides us, who had to sit here patiently while we tried to figure out how to make all this work.
Yeah, that was interesting. But hey, all that's out of the way. The housekeeping is out of the way.
Well, one more thing. Don't forget that
course.
the Prototype Brewing Invitational is coming up Saturday, April 30th. You got all the deets if you listened to the last episode. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, there are still tickets available, so be sure to check that out.
Exactly. I'm glad we're drinking.
Me too.
I'm so glad we are drinking. While we were setting up and fighting through all that and drinking the delicious pre-show beer that you guys were kind enough to give us, we had mentioned that, at least for myself and Wayne, we hadn't been here since the last time we recorded here, which was 3 years ago.
I'm here all the fucking time.
Well, yeah, you live like 20 minutes away, if even.
A little more, yeah.
Okay, but still, yeah, it's a little different for us, but that just makes it all the more special when we're here. Last time we were here, I had a sprained ankle. I don't this time, thank God. But what's new in the world of Poor Man's?
Oh, man, so much has changed in the last 3 years. We're still in the same building, unfortunately, but other than that, everything has changed. We got into canning. We've really gotten into distribution. And then probably close to a year ago now, we decided to start going really hard into lagers.
Yes!
And
I would like to think I had just a teeny bit of inspiration.
I think so.
Yes. You heard it here first.
So the draft list is normally like 75% lager, and the only reason it's not 100% lager is because there's too many regulars hanging on to those couple core year-round beers that we just can't stop making. So those are the big differences. The brew houses, I think the last time you guys were here maybe was the second brew house, I think, the 3-barrel maybe.
I believe so. Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
So we have a 10-barrel now. We have behind me 4 10-barrel fermenters. There's a 5 on the end. There's 2 stackable 10-barrel horizontal lager tanks that are coming here, hopefully any minute now. Another 10-barrel unitank and a 10-barrel bright going on the end.
Woo!
So this room's going to get real small real quick, even than it is now.
It's going to say it's already pretty crowded in here. But,
yeah.
One thing that we've talked about a lot on the podcast in the past, and we haven't really, since we haven't been in breweries, is talking about how you guys managed to like fit so much equipment into space where like it shouldn't logically fit.
Yeah.
And here we are in this room, and you're like, yeah, and there's 2 more tanks coming, and I'm like, sure there are. Yep.
Masters of Tetris and Jenga at the same time.
There used to be 2 more in the corner down here where it seems kind of open right now. So it was more full like a month ago, but we got rid of 2 tanks in anticipation for the 2 other tanks coming. So now it's like actually more spacious than normal.
It's more spacious than normal.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I've learned not to question brewers or brewery owners when they tell me they're putting more tanks in ever since Mad Chef.
Mad Chef, yeah.
When I did not believe them, and I remember Greg sending me pictures, and he's like, "I told you so," and showed how they squeezed all of that stuff in that tiny space. Now they have a larger space. Congratulations to Mad Chef for that beautiful, much larger space now, but a larger space in the future for you guys. I mean, you are now apparently the #1 brewery of all time in Pennsylvania or whatever.
Yeah,
until the next.
I think it's all time. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there's no more brackets after
for the
this
year.
one. I think it
For
ends.
the year.
Yeah, we're looking very hard. We've been trying for probably like 6 months to find a building. We found one. We made an offer. Hopefully that one works out. If not, we'll start looking again for another one.
Very cool. Well, we're excited to see you guys expand and move into another space. So next time we come and set up a podcast, maybe we'll have a little bit more breathing room there.
I hope so. Well, if this current building works out, the one that we're working on getting, this will still remain our production space, and that will just be our tap room. So we'll just set up in this exact same space, and it'll just be crappier, actually.
Here's a question: What will the internet situation be when that happens?
Oh, probably way worse, actually. I didn't even think about that. We might want to set up in the new tap room.
All right, fair. All right, fair.
You need a special podcasting space in the new tap room.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
There's like a loft office that would be sweet for a podcast, actually, and the space that we're trying to get that kind of like oversees the tap room. That would be pretty cool.
If I can do anything to help you secure that building, let me know.
Yeah. I feel like we've recorded in similar spaces. I know we didn't record there, but at GK Visual, where you saw what's his name's desk from Mad Men.
Don
Draper.
Draper's desk.
Yeah, that office we weren't in there, but that was sort of like that kind of a setup.
I may have had my own personal photo shoot behind that desk. It was like one of the happiest moments of my life.
That sounds pretty cool. So awesome to hear expanding. Awesome to hear you've been voted the greatest brewery in the universe for the rest of history
crazy.
or whatever. So I hear that part of that deal was that you had to give away a lot of beer at a loss recently.
They offered to get that. It was like a bribe, I think, for people to vote.
Yeah. So it was never a bribe. It was just an incentive. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So
Better
if,
now.
If
better
we
now.
won, then we got. So we started with the Final Four. We did $4 beers the Monday after, and then we got to the finals and went to $2 beers the Monday after, and then we didn't find out we won the championship till that Monday. And we did dollar beers that night, so it was kind of like quick turnaround for a lot of people to get here. So it was basically just a lot of the regulars that have been like really pushing for us to win. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, so they deserved
yeah,
that.
for sure they deserved it.
No, I couldn't make it for the dollar night because we were actually recording that night. But I was here on Pie Day when you had beers for $3.14, which was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed that event.
So those have all been Mondays in a row. So the most expensive beer has been in the last 5 Mondays has been $4.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So another reason that we sort of got together to podcast with you guys, not just because you're awesome and we wanted an excuse to come drink the 11 lagers you have on tap, but you guys have an event coming up in April. So I don't know, do we want to throw it over to Dean? Let our Zoom participants speak for a moment.
So this is another charity event that I'm kind of coordinating here. For a good friend of mine, Shannon. Shannon is he's one of the owners of Dutch Country Soft Pretzels, which is the pretzels that we sell here at Poor Man's, and they are very delicious. But I've known Shannon for, probably about 6 or 7 years now. Shannon and I used to sell Shannon's pretzels at a previous job, and Shannon and I would hit the road together, pounding the pavement, as they would say. Making calls and getting his delicious pretzels into other businesses. So, in that time, Shannon and I, we became good friends and both got acquainted over our love of beer. So with that said, being that I'm a home brewer, I have a beer that I make using Shannon's pretzels pretty frequently, which is actually the beer we'll talk about here in a little bit. But recently Shannon had a very a very serious kind of life event happen. He lost his son in a car accident, and I just wanted to do what I could do to show my support for him. And Shannon talk about it, but they're starting a scholarship in his son's memory, and I just got with Ryan and Sam and just pitched my idea to them, and of course they were on board. So yeah, we're going to be we did brew my beer and scholarship and everything.
Thanks for having me on, first and foremost, and thanks for that introduction, Dean. It's a real honor and a little overwhelming to have so much support, and really appreciate Dean's efforts here. And I had just an incredible time there at Four Man's, getting to brew the beer with Ryan and his team, and putting the pretzels in the mash, and getting some pictures of some of the things we were doing while brewing was pretty special. And Samuel was 18 when he passed. Pretty quick and tragic accident, but he was a great kid. Ever since he was little, he was a real black and white kind of guy. Rule follower. He was just a real well-rounded, good kid. He'll be missed. And one of the ways that we want to remember him, and one of the ways we want to carry on his legacy and his name, is through a foundation that we've started. It's not strictly a scholarship, because if we were to strictly do scholarships, a lot of times kids will lose extra funding when they go to school using the scholarships. So what we're doing is we're opening up, it's more like a memorial fund under community foundation. So this foundation will manage the funds. It'll be invested, and every year we'll get to make contributions, and we'll kind of get to advise on how the monies get dispersed, and to be programs that we know Samuel would have loved, and it could be something. He was big into soccer, and so we might we'll be able to give towards some programs local here in our hometown. We'll also be able to also do scholarships if that makes sense. And the money never goes away. It'll last forever. It'll always be there. It'll be advised by our children once we're no longer able to advise it. It'll be advised by their children, but if it falls flat, nobody's advising. They're just going to go off the history of how we were advising. And so it's kind of nice to know that the money's always going to be dispersed based on the history of our advising.
So I have a question. It's really cool that you got to be here for the brew day. However, I'm kind of imagining when they were throwing all of your pretzels into the mash, like, while that may have been cool, that may have caused me a little bit of anxiety. Like, I just spent all this money on ingredients, but time and effort to make these delicious pretzels, and they're just throwing it into beer. Was that stressful at all to watch that part of the brewing process?
No, well, actually, it's not the first time we put pretzels in beer. So we know that I feel like, it's a delicious pretzel already. It's just going to add just a little bit, maybe a little bit of flavor to the beer. But at the end of the mash, when all the wort was transferred over, you could see that all the pretzels were pretty much done. They were. No, we felt good about it. I like I said, I've used pretzels in beer before, so it was, and I was really glad to hear that Dean had a recipe, because I knew he'd used our pretzels before in a beer, but I didn't know how didn't know how concrete that was, or if he had recorded a recipe. But that's pretty special to be able to be part of that too.
Dean, tell us a little bit about the beer and the recipe.
So the beer is a German Dortmunder style. So it's going to be around 4.5, 4.8%, I believe. Ryan, is that correct?
Yeah, I think it would be like right around 5.
Yeah. So I mean, a Dortmunder, it's basically, I look at it as more of a slightly more bitter Helles or a less bitter Pilsner. Very drinkable, goes great with pretzels, so why not put the pretzels right in the beer? But it's one, like I said, ever since I've known Shannon, I've been kind of toying with this beer, and I brew it pretty often at my house. And yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's a lot different at home. I put maybe 1 or 2 or 3 pretzels in the mash, and then when we scaled it up at Poor Man's Scene, a whole case or so in there. It's a lot different. But yeah, but no, we were excited about it. I was really grateful for Ryan to take my recipe, and me and Ryan, we talk about beer all the time, and he's tried a couple of my beers, but it was still an honor for him to have him trust my recipe and scale it up like that for such an important event. So yeah, we're very excited about it. Kind of like what we did with the Bart beer a couple months back. We do have a handful of other local breweries that will be putting the beer on tap as well, and donating proceeds back. So we're very excited. I think we have at least probably 5 or 6 that we know of, Ryan, for sure, and then maybe some more. But yeah, people. I mean, anytime we do a charity event like this, most breweries are more than willing to chip in and help out. So yeah, it's just another good cause, and it's just good all around feeling.
Absolutely, and we certainly appreciate pretzel beers on this.
Well, yeah, I want to know how many of the pretzels didn't make it into the mash, but instead
how many got eaten?
Went into your face holes.
Surprisingly, none. We actually didn't eat any.
It's impressive.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is impressive. When can we expect the beer to be on tap here at Poor Man's?
So we are going to put that on tap on Thursday, April 28th.
Thursday, April 28th.
Yep, that night we'll be donating 20% of sales to Shannon Son's Memorial Fund, and have also been in contact with a handful of breweries. We brewed it a 5-barrel batch of it, so we're going to keep 2 kegs for that night, so we have enough to make it through that night and possibly, hopefully, the weekend or at least the next day. And then the rest of the kegs are going to be sold to other breweries who are either going to also do benefit nights or tack some sort of extra amount of money on the top of the keg to be donated to the fund.
Very cool. Very cool.
What time do you guys open on a Thursday? 4?
4, yep.
Okay. 4 to 9?
Yep, 4 to 9. Our bartenders are usually really cool about benefit nights, too. We have certain ones that volunteer every time we do them. And we almost always, they want to donate their hourly pay and their tips, which is amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Kudos to them.
The staff here at Poor Man's is literally the best. When we came in, and hopefully we'll get him on at some point, but Dan behind the bar, he is here probably every time that we are here. And when we send Rich to get beer and we're not here, he will write us little messages on the crowler. Usually they're passive aggressive, like, where are you? Why are you not here? Like the Ukrainian lager, we wanted a crowler of it, and we were brewing that day, so we sent him to get a crowler so we could drink it while we were brewing. But such a good time when you hang out here, and they give you shit and make you feel like family.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like, I like a bartender with a little bit of wise ass. Like you want someone to like kind of give it back to you a little bit. It's more fun. Mm-hmm. So I think we have a really good staff that will like. It's not going to come in and just be nothing but fluff. Like it's not going to be nothing but bullshit. There's going to be actually a conversation about beer, or like you're going to make fun of each other. Both are fun. Either one is fine. And Dan has been friends with Sam. Sam can speak to that, but they've been like childhood friends. They know each other forever. And he's from a beer background. He used to work at a beer distributor. That's how we got him.
Sam, tell me a good story about Dan.
Oh man, there's lots of good stories about Dan. Yeah, I don't even know where to start with that guy. He's a wild one. Let's just say that.
We'll go with that.
Go with that?
He's a wild one.
Oh man, I was hoping to get.
We were hoping for
shit.
some juicy deets. I don't know, Sam. I don't know if I haven't noticed. Are you drinking a beer with there?
Are you drinking hams?
Are you drinking hams?
I'm drinking Perspective right now.
All right, fair.
Which one are we drinking? We're drinking the Italian one.
Yeah, we're drinking the Italian pill, Siempre Insieme, which means always together in
Oh,
Italian.
well, there's a funny Dan story. What did he tell us it's called? Something inside.
Something
Oh my
inside.
God.
That sounds about right. It's close enough.
But he wouldn't. He said it to Eric or Ron. But when I went up and I said, "What's that beer called?" He said the actual name, and I said, "That's not what you told the guys." So at least he tried to keep it clean for the ladies. But all right, Shannon, what are you drinking?
Well, last night I was at Rural City doing some sampling with our pretzels. We introduced them to their customers last night for the first time. It looks like they're going to be putting them on their menu. So when I wrapped it up and left, I grabbed a Monday light American lager, and
Nice.
4.2%, and I'm enjoying it.
Dean, you better be drinking a lager or you're getting kicked off of this podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
I am. I'm drinking one of my beers. It's a smoked uncle.
I approve.
oh, nice. That sounds nice.
Pairs well with pretzels.
I actually brewed it for my dad.
Aw.
So we said the it's going on tap, and the event is going to be April 28th. I may have missed this while I was dealing with audio stuff, and I very much apologize if that's the case. Shannon, will you have pretzels here available that night?
Yeah, I hope to. Ryan usually stocks what they have on their menu, so that'd be a good question for Ryan, but I would think.
Yeah, Sam, we sell the jumbo Oktoberfest pretzel, right?
Yep, yeah. So we sell the jumbo one with the house-made beer cheese and spicy mustard.
Ooh.
Is there any way to make a pretzel egg roll?
Ooh.
Or like a soft pretzel inspired egg roll?
That'd be cool. I can ask my wife. My wife makes all the egg rolls outside of Sam's mom's recipe. Sam's mom and his sister make the Mama Sons,
Right.
And then Emily makes all the other ones.
All the non-Reinheitsgebot ones.
exactly.
Yeah. Or whatever the
Non-traditional.
rule is for the
Yeah.
non-traditional ones.
Sam's mom is the lager egg roll maker, and then Emily is the non-lager egg roll maker.
Nice.
I mean, when you come to Poor Man's, the first reason you come is for a lager, but the second very close reason that you come is for egg rolls.
German egg rolls.
German egg rolls
Yeah.
specifically. So that actually makes me curious. And
I thought you were going to say hungry.
Well, also that.
Well, yeah.
But I think Shannon is the one to address. We're talking about the Reinheitsgebot, the purity law, how German, the law that says beer can only be the 4 ingredients that are meant to make beer. Is there a similar like purity idea in pretzels? Like, are there like pretzel purists who don't want to like add all the additives to pretzels, who think that that's like wrong?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of pretzels out there that, honestly, I would tell you that the cardboard box that they come in tastes better than the actual pretzel.
Oh yeah, I can think of a few off the top of my head.
Shots fired.
So we believe in our product to be pure. It's GMO free. It's vegan. We use locally sourced ingredients. We don't add any preservatives or colors or additives or anything, and it comes out as a delicious pretzel. By far, I mean, you can do your own side-by-side comparisons, but we're biased. We believe we have the best pretzels, and it's a German. It has German roots, of course, because it's made it out of the Pennsylvania Dutch area where Annie Ann's got started. As a matter of fact, the guy that started our company over almost 30 years ago was an Annie Ann's franchisee who thought he could make a better pretzel than Annie Ann's.
I didn't know Annie
So
Ann's
he-
was from around here. Well,
Yeah.
that's total news to
I
me.
knew that.
That's awesome.
Annie Ann's got started in Lancaster County as well. Yeah.
What?
There's Pennsylvania is one of the leading food production states in the country. There are a ton of big food brands that are based or were started in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania makes really good lagers and really good snacks.
Yeah. Shannon, what did you
Right.
say at the brew day that Lancaster they call the snack capital of Pennsylvania or something along those lines?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're in the snack capital of the United States, right where we're sitting. Yep.
So I also have to ask you, because I've recently rediscovered, is it Snyder's of Hanover that does the onion honey mustard pretzel bits?
The little pretzel bites
that are literally addicting. It's one of those foods that's addicting to eat. How do you feel as a pretzel purist about this product? Because they also have Parmesan peppercorn versions now too.
Oh, there's way more than that. Have you ever been to the Snyder's of Hanover factory store?
No, I have not.
You don't even know the limits of the flavors they have.
I had really good honey mustard ones
what
there, but
what I want to
back
know
to purists.
Should I feel guilty because I love these pretzels because they're not real pretzels?
No, I think honestly, I think Snyder's of Hanover does a good job. I think they've tried to stay true to their roots. And if I was going to pick a hard pretzel to eat, Snyder's is a good pretzel. It still is a good pretzel.
All right.
I feel like we can look at the different flavors of pretzels like that, kind of like beer almost, because there is a true traditional pretzel. And then there are all the variations of it. Like you have, true traditional IPAs, and then all the weird shit happened to those. Weird shit happened to pretzels, but people will come back around to the traditional ones.
So in this analogy that you're creating, would soft pretzels versus hard pretzels be similar to lager versus ale?
Yeah, we can go with that.
All right.
And your little honey mustard pretzel bites would be like a pastry style.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Yeah, the honey mustard pretzel bites are like the hazy milkshake IPA.
Yeah. Well, so the three of us grew up in the Reading-Muhlenberg area, so I grew up eating unique pretzels. They make the splits. But which I only recently found out because I haven't been there in ages, but they don't make the jalapeno splits anymore. And I don't know if you guys remember those, but those were literally my favorite hard pretzels, I guess would be I don't remember your analogy. Yeah, but I stopped in there around Christmas time to get some chocolate covered pretzels for Christmas gifts, and she said, yeah, they've stopped making the flavored ones quite a while ago. But I remember growing up, those were my absolute favorite, jalapeno ones.
What's the pretzel shop that's right across from the Fairgrounds Mall, or at least used to be?
That's unique.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember when I was, 15 or 16, we went to the Cayman Islands for a little vacation. And I was big into soda. I was big into soda at the time, so we went to the grocery store to pick me up a case of vanilla Coke because that was my favorite. And we're walking down the snack aisle.
There's so many things about this
I know.
story.
And my dad's like, "Hey, do you want any chips or anything?" And I stopped and I want pretzels. I was like, "There's a bag of unique pretzels right there." And on the back, made in Reading, Pennsylvania, down in the Cayman Islands. I was so happy about that.
Oh wow.
We did not get the pretzels, by the way. And yes, I drank that entire case of vanilla Coke myself.
Did you also get a Yingling?
No, I was 15. I tried to drink some of Dad's mudslide, but
Dad
caught on
would get a mudslide,
Of
wouldn't he?
course, he was in the Cayman Islands.
Actually, I'm surprised I got a mudslide because there's no fruit in it.
There were plenty of
coffee beans are a fruit. Is there coffee? No.
Yeah, it's like chocolate. It was
chocolate.
It was whatever their version. They called it like a nutty pirate mudslide or something. It was like a chocolate shake in alcoholic form.
Nutty. Oh, Jesus. No.
I'm writing that one down.
Of course. Good. So Shannon, your pretzels are they available to buy outside of like in-person events or anything, or can hypothetically speaking, could somebody go online and order your pretzels or find you distributed somewhere?
Absolutely, yeah. We probably the best place to go for especially other breweries or restaurants that are outside of our local area. They can go to the Webstaurant store. And just so it's kind of like the restaurant store, but spelled web.
Oh,
I was just on the Webstaurant store like 2 weeks ago.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah, we have all our lines on that site, and they ship all over the country. But we do have local distribution. If someone within a 70-mile radius, we could probably get distribution.
And Shannon, you guys do have a little cafe as well, right?
Yeah, we have a little bakery store attached to our manufacturing facility, where we sell. You can come visit. You can kind of get a little taste of we're right in the heart of Amish country in New Holland. We're between Ephrata and Blue Ball on Route 322, Division Highway, and it's quite a treat. Because a lot of people don't notice. That we're there. We're trying to do a little better with signage, and we do have a new sign up now. But been there a long time, and you can come in. You can get pretzels that are wrapped in. We call them pretzel wraps, but you probably had something similar called a hot pocket.
I've had many.
It's really
many
good.
Hot Pockets.
I used to almost exclusively eat Hot Pockets.
Basically, take queso dough and wrap it in lots of different varieties of meats and cheeses and things. Like we have a Reuben, a Cuban. We have, we have ham and cheese, pork barbecue, stromboli, pizza, steak and cheese, all kinds of stuff like that.
Why don't we have those here?
Yeah, I want
I
to
want
know
a
the same
Reuben.
thing.
I want a
Don't
goddamn
look at
Reuben.
me. I
Look
have
at
no
Sam.
control.
I'm
of
pretty
food.
sure Sam makes those decisions.
Sam?
Oh no! Somebody crashed into a pole by his house. He lost Wi-Fi again.
He's right here. Sam, you should put those pretzels on the menu.
I'll answer for Sam. We cook in a closet.
I mean, generally, any sort of food question / suggestion at Poor Man's, you guys make amazing food in
Yeah,
a
the
very
food
small
is really
facility.
good.
But anything you can't do, that is the answer. Yeah, our kitchen's a closet.
I just figured the
we just
silence.
can't.
I figured the silence was hidden, pleading the fifth.
That as well.
The egg rolls are amazing. Even the house made kettle chips or whatever that you have the spicy ketchup with them. Like if I'm not that hungry, it's just a good salty snack to have with beer. Rich had a burger last time we were here, right? And
The
he
cheese
really
curds
loved
that we added are really nice too.
Cheese
We
curds?
just started doing those like
Yeah.
a week or two ago. Sam was in. He'll have to chime in if he can hear me. In York, and found this cheese curd company that was out there, and we started doing those a couple weeks ago, and those have been really popular.
Yeah, it's a local company here in the Hallam or York area. Just a small little place, and tried their cheese curds one time, got them on the menu, and they haven't left.
Yeah, cheese curds are great. We've been to a couple of beer fests, and there's usually, if there's food trucks, there's somebody serving cheese curds, and they're always a treat. They go well with beer, definitely.
I mean, anything fried goes with beer.
That's true. That's
anything
true.
cheesy goes with beer.
Deep
Anything
fat fried
salty
and
goes
beer.
with beer.
Yeah. So we mentioned earlier about you guys looking to expand to another location, hopefully sooner rather than later. As a taproom space, are you thinking of expanding the kitchen, offering a little more in the way of like a complex menu?
Yeah,
or?
that's part of the reason why we're trying to expand. Is our menu now is kind of like a tiny picture of what we want it to be. So there's little things in each segment that we want to just do slightly better. And we're trying to find a space where we can put in a full kitchen. We still want to stick with the pub style of you walk up, you order, that sort of stuff. We don't want to get away from that. We're not going to be a restaurant. I talked to a lot of other brewery owners that get into opening up restaurants, and it takes away from being a brewery because you're running a restaurant then. We still want to be a brewery with good food. We just want to be able to, like tonight, we're sitting in here, it's a Friday night. It's pretty busy. I was up front grabbing us beers, and they told me they're an hour and a half out on food. So if you just walked up and ordered egg rolls right now, it'd be an hour and a half. So we want to alleviate that problem. So we want to do the same things we're doing now, better, expand on it, but not go too far that we lose track of what we are.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to start concentrating on like developing a complex gourmet menu when like you really just want to make really good beers, particularly lagers.
Yeah, exactly. That the whole thing is it's always going to be a beer focused place, but we want to also be able to get people food quickly. So that's part of the reason why we're trying to move.
Awesome. And it is always amazing. I think of Moo Duck as well as a brewery that produces like really good food out of a kitchen that like does not look like it would work for producing really good food. Mm-hmm. It's amazing the way brewery owners manage to find space where there doesn't seem to be any and make like really good food out of like kitchens the size of an outhouse.
Yeah, it's we actually drew a lot of inspiration off of Mooduk's menu and talking to Mike and Kristen a lot over there and helping us on some of the things that like they get out quickly that people like, and started like trying out those things. We tried pizza, that wasn't our niche. We tried paninis, that wasn't the thing. The burgers and what we call toasties, so they're like a toasted Texas toast sandwich, have been kind of our niche as far as like a handheld go. And then egg rolls, and then just a bunch of like quick bar food that you want, cheese curds, tots, boneless wings, that sort of stuff.
All of it. I want all of it.
You know what I really love? I love that like a lot of places are starting to move into the like decadent tater tots. You know, like treating tater tots as something that can be like, you know, like nachos. It's like piled with cheese and jalapenos.
Okay,
and meat
but
and
how
all
do
that
you
kind of
feel
thing.
about the term tachos? Because I've heard
I'm
people on
all on board. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
no, they're amazing, and I like the pun of the name. I had
Me
good
too.
tachos the other night at a barbecue place in Philly. It was so good, and they were free. They made too many of them. How do you make too many? How do you make too many and have a problem handing them out? People turn these down.
Go make too many egg rolls. We'll eat them.
Yeah.
Do you want to do your
Oh, Dan's
cameo?
like, I'm
You guys
done.
ready for a Dan Terry cameo?
Yeah,
All right, I
absolutely.
gotta pee anyway. You can take my spot.
All right, fair enough.
Oh, he's running away. No, don't run away. Okay, good. He's coming back.
All right, so for the listeners, Ryan is taking a bathroom break. So bartender Dan,
You could say he's taking an opportunity.
he's taking an opportunity. An opportunity.
An opportunity.
So Steph had an interesting. What were you saying about Dan earlier about him writing notes to you?
Yes. The love letters that you write to us on Crowlers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I like to keep it fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's we were talking about how awesome you and the other staff members are here, and how you create a very welcoming environment, but you all give us a lot of shit too. So a little bit of abuse goes a long way.
We don't want to be the typical bartenders. We'd like the not just the beer to bring you back, but you know, the smart-assness, the hospitality. to say the least.
Hospitality. And when they're not too busy, he's willing to do a full photo shoot for Instagram.
Oh, that's always nice. That's always nice. So, how long have you been with Poor Man's? What brought you here?
6 months.
Okay.
I used to run Hempfield Beverage, and
Okay.
Sam is one of my closer friends.
Yeah,
since-
tell us some shit about Sam. He was busting on you earlier.
He gave us all the dirty
Oh,
details.
there he is.
I didn't see shit.
I didn't know you were there,
Same thing.
Sam. Hey, buddy. I call you for something you can't answer.
It's because
Yeah,
he's
that's why when you
he's
called
on
me,
a
I
Zoom
said I was
call.
busy.
Yeah, he's on a
Well,
podcast.
I would have just put the headphones on and asked you this way. I'm not gonna. No, it's too long ago.
you're-
Honestly, I don't really remember anything from our.
Oh, is that
I-
why you didn't say anything? Because you couldn't remember either.
I mean, we met
No,
what,
so
sixth
okay,
grade.
so one memory I'll give you is Dan introduced me to Lucy. It's a little corner store where you can go in and get single cigarettes.
What?
Yeah, Lancaster City has a bunch of little what we call bodegas, and a lot of them sell
People
quarters.
still sell Lucy's?
I don't know if they still do, but you used to be able to get a Newport for 25 cents, 100.
Back when they were in sixth
I
grade.
didn't think
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
legal.
It's highly illegal.
Okay, all right, good.
Most things you can buy from a bodega are highly illegal.
More or less, yeah.
That's true. The first time I ever bought beer without an ID was at a bodega, and I may or may not have been 21.
I used to get us beer when, am I allowed to say it, Sam, when we were 10th, 11th grade from Queen's Six Pack?
Yeah.
believe it.
Oh yeah.
They knew who I was because my neighbor used to order Chinese cheeseburgers all the time, and we'd go in there, and one day he let me buy his beer, and no one carded me, and ever since then I was able to get his beer.
I'm sorry. I just want to know what a Chinese cheeseburger is.
I was actually going to ask that too.
I don't know. My neighbor used to call it to him. They used to have extra cheese on it, and they had these little real nice fluffy buns.
Yeah,
Oh, they were delicious.
I have to say, one of the best cheeseburgers I've ever had was from a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, it was just a little,
I don't
it's a
understand it.
little corner
like
six-pack
a-
takeout place that made fried
Yeah.
chicken and cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Like a bao bun?
No,
No.
just
No,
just
just
like
a normal
like
cheeseburger.
not even a King's Hawaiian bun, like whatever knockoff brand you
Yeah.
get at.
I don't know what a King's Hawaiian bun is.
What?
I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's like the name brand of buns. It's the
Oh,
Kleenex
it's a
of buns.
brand. I thought it was a specific.
That's a sentence I
style.
never want to say again.
The Kleenex of bun.
Oh God!
Well, that one,
Well, this went off the rails
Write
real
it
quick.
down.
This-
Write
It
it down.
usually does.
This segment brought to you by Scott's.
I'm writing that part down. We haven't done this in person in a very long time, so we're all a little off the rails today.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, sticking to script's no fun, right?
Who needs
No,
scripts?
we
Yeah.
don't ever stick. to
Also,
scripts.
because we talked about this in the podcast before, but behind the curtain is that like a lot of breweries over the past year have had like staffing issues, so getting people to commit on a Friday night has been difficult. So we've been doing podcasts on like Mondays and Tuesdays where we can't like cut loose and like, you know, have a few more beers.
Well,
than
and we
than
wouldn't be able
otherwise
to
would.
go in person on a Monday
Yeah.
or Tuesday
Yeah, and we
night because
couldn't.
of our commitments during the week. But
Right.
yeah, hopefully things are getting back to normal and we can start doing this a little bit more often. But
Feels good. Feels good.
I will say I do know one funny story about Sam. We went to a car show down in Atlantic City, and I don't know if we were taking my car or his car, But I'm pretty sure we listened to Khalees, your milkshake brings the milkshake,
Oh my
bring the boys in
God.
the yard. We probably listened to it on repeat for about 2.5 hours of the drive.
Oh, my
nice.
God.
Wait, that one song?
That song.
Wait, was it on like a cassette single and it got stuck?
No, I think we had the cassettes hooked up to a CD player.
I'm sorry. It's a single.
A single. Sorry.
That song gets in. That song weasels its way into my head at least 3 times a week.
Now I leave it
Wait,
for and
is
listen
this
to it in
a
the
real
mornings.
thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know why that
Because
is.
it's the low hanging fruit of jokes these days, and that's what I'm going to go for first.
Is it though?
It kind of is.
I feel like it was before.
Oh no, it still is. People
Okay.
still appreciate the reference.
I make it all the time.
Really?
Man, any chance I get.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll still.
It's a Dan thing.
Well, no,
It's
think
an
of how
age
excited
thing.
Only
you
people
were.
named Dan.
Think of how excited you. That's true. How excited you were when he said it.
He's Dan as well, in case you didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I know.
No, it brought me back to being in my mom's minivan and one of my singles getting caught in there, and you had to listen to the same fucking song over and over and over again until you could finally get the freaking thing out.
I can picture.
That's my excitement, because I reminisced about that.
I can absolutely picture your mom trying to pull out her hair from that scenario, from that exact same scenario.
Depending on the single, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
using that word all the freaking time now.
Single is the best word ever.
It is not the best word ever.
It's
but
one of them.
Hey guys, can I jump in for a second?
No.
Please do. Please save us from this nonsense.
Hey, I think Shannon has to get rolling here, but I know he wanted to say thank you to everyone.
Oh yeah, Shannon.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely, Shannon. We don't want to keep you. Sorry that we got so delayed in getting started, but you have the floor to say as you will.
Well, no, it's my first experience on a podcast like this, and I just appreciate you guys inviting me on. I thank all of you for giving us some spotlight here, and I really appreciate Dean for what he's doing to help us kind of spearhead this charity event, and thank you to Ryan and Sam and the rest of the 4-man team there for letting me come out and experience some pretty cool brewing with them, and just really looking forward to spending some more time with them at the event coming up on the 28th.
Very cool.
That's
Very
awesome. Yeah, Shannon, thank you for joining us, and we'll certainly keep spreading the word about the event. And I mean, I'm gonna order your pretzels. Let's be honest.
How can people find you on the internet / social media?
We do have a Facebook page, Dutch Country Soft Pretzels. We're on Instagram. We also have a website. Yeah, you can order from our website. Actually, we'll ship products to your door. But yeah, I would start there, and you get probably just as much information as you would want.
Shannon, you might want to mention to them to make sure they're on your Facebook page and not the fake one that's out there.
Oh, a fake
Not the
one.
imitator.
Oh, what is this? Salacious. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a long story, but a relative that spun off of our company kept the name Dutch Country soft, but they put hand rolled in the name. So there is a Dutch Country hand rolled soft pretzels out there with a brick and mortar in Mount Joy and a food truck. We're not associated.
Good to know. Good to know. I just wrote that down and underlined it twice.
Original Dutch Country soft pretzel.
Pretzel warfare, man.
I know it's a cutthroat industry. I never would have thought.
I mean, before you know it, History Channel is going to have a reality show about this, the Pretzel Wars.
the Pretzel Wars.
Snyder's and Snyder's of Hanover.
Yeah,
Are they not the same? I always
not
thought they
the
were the
same.
same. What?
Yeah, they are.
I
not
just
the same.
recently discovered that in the last
Yeah.
probably 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's.
I'm learning
But
so much about
Tom
pretzels tonight.
Sturgis and Julia Sturgis are the same family. I
didn't
think
even
they're
know-
the
I
same
didn't know there was a
company,
Julia.
too.
I knew there was Tom Sturgis. I
Julius is
didn't-
the original. That's the one in Lidditz, where they actually have all the original pretzel making stuff, and then the one near where I live is Tom Sturgis, and
Yeah.
that has all like the updated equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, the Tom Sturgis, that's right across the street from where I got my car.
If you don't live in Pennsylvania, people, you don't know what pretzels
Yeah.
are. We are
Yeah.
very
Yes, sir.
fortunate to have
Yeah.
We
a
are-
crap ton of great
we are
pretzel
rich
Yeah,
companies.
in
the
good
pretzels
pretzels.
you get at like 7-Eleven or wherever you are not like they're
Or the
they're-
streets of Philly.
They're passable, but they're not good.
The ones
pretzels.
at Wawa aren't terrible.
Well,
They could be better, but
to each their own.
fair enough. Anyway, Shannon,
All
we don't
that
want
to
to
say.
keep you if you have to get running. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you for making amazing pretzels, and we're all, very proud to promote this event. And thank you to Dean for putting
Yes,
it together.
yes,
Dean
yes,
has been doing for years now, but particularly recently, it's so much good things in the beer world, and we're proud to know him, and we're proud to have met you through him.
I'm sitting here like I know this other person's voice. I just looked at Ryan. Is that Dean Pierce I'm hearing? Okay, okay. It's all. I was like, I've heard this voice in my head
He's
before.
a disembodied voice. Yeah. He doesn't show up if he doesn't have his video on.
Good night, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you so
Shannon.
much.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dean.
Howdy, Dan.
This is the best.
That's a better
Oh
angle.
my gosh.
I'm not in the shot, but I feel like you can see more that way, so we'll leave it like that.
Do
Nobody
we want to
gets to see
play
me.
a game?
Yeah, I think this is probably a good time.
I do have a game. As long as everyone on the Zoom call is happy to stick around and participate.
And just think of it, you don't have to change your score column because we still have the same amount of people. Shannon left, but Dan is here.
This
Yeah.
is true. I could replace Shannon with Dan. Ugh, that means I have to rewrite the scoreboard because everybody's
you
out
just
of order.
crossed it out too, didn't you?
I just crossed it out because I was like, Shannon left the call.
Well,
I'll take
now
him
you
off the
gotta figure it out.
scoreboard. Jesus, fuck my life.
Don't forget to. Are we recording the video?
No.
No.
Not- I mean,
There's no way. This is not going.
I mean, for many reasons, no. So we're gonna go.
Well-
Steph, Ryan, Dan number 1.
Which is
No,
Mike.
it's not.
No, it's him because he was first in the order.
Man,
And then let's see, Sam,
just got demoted to
Christ.
Dan number 2 on my own fucking
Dean,
podcast.
and then
Dan.
my actual brother Dan.
You should write Brother Dan above it. Because
Nope.
I feel like once
Nope,
we get-
because it's more
Oh,
fun when I
Jesus
don't know what I'm
Christ.
doing.
Okay, you two are going to have to share a mic.
Yeah,
Oh shit! Sorry about that. That sucks.
Scoot over and
if you
get
can
lovey-dovey.
lean into it when you say something
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
like that, it's perfect.
Anyway, here we go. Let's try. Let's see what happens. Who knows? Cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Game, the podcast trivia segment that is a nutty pirate mudslide. Because that's the funnest thing I wrote down this evening. So
The funnest thing?
it is the funnest thing I wrote down this evening. So today we are playing one of my favorite games that I don't do as often as I would like because it's hard to find material for sometimes. But this is There's Weird in My Beer.
Ooh, Dean called it.
Yeah.
Are all of the answers pretzels?
All of the answers are not pretzels, but I will not guarantee that pretzels will not be involved at any point in the game.
Oh,
There very well may be pretzels. So if anyone listening / participating is not familiar with how this game works, I will tell you a little bit. Dan, I'm looking at you because you probably don't know. I will tell you.
Staring right back at you.
Fair enough. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about a beer that has a weird, strange, unusual ingredient, and you will have 3 multiple choice options to choose what the weird is in each beer. And we'll do round robin style, add up the scores, see who wins, loses, and gets nothing for it. But we will begin to my left with Steph, who is sitting to my left. Anna's to my right this evening. I don't know what is going on. Anyway, our first beer of the game is a fruited sour ale from Drecker Brewing in Fargo, North Dakota.
I've
It-
actually been there, I think.
Nice. It's a kitchen. Well, you might have an advantage here. It's a kitchen sink beer. It's brewed with pineapple, plum, strawberry, raspberry, passion fruit, lactose sugar, a whole bunch of vanilla beans,
Please
and
don't ever make that.
Sorry, I won't.
in an effort to capture the distilled essence of childhood, it also includes a certain nostalgic snack. Is it Gushers, Fruit by the Foot, or Sour Patch Kids?
I feel like the only one that would actually impart anything into the beer would be Sour Patch Kids. And I know I'm trying to think of this logically, and that's the wrong way to play this game. But
Absolutely.
I feel like the other ones would just impart like waxiness. I'm gonna go Sour Patch Kids.
Going with the Sour Patch Kids, Ryan.
Sour Patch Kids.
Also Sour Patch Kids, Dan number 1.
Fruit by the foot.
Ooh, changing it up, going with Fruit by the Foot, Mike.
I'm going to have to go Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids, okay, a popular one. Sam?
Sure, Sour Patch Kid.
Sure, he's like, I didn't hear the other option, so I'll just go that.
What's going on right now?
Fair enough, fair enough.
I can't really hear, so yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's all crazy. Dean, if you can hear me and you're still there, give me an answer.
I can hear you, and I'm still here. And before I answer, I just gotta say, without the music for the Happy Fun Times games, I just can't get into this the right way. But with that
Oh,
said,
man.
I'm gonna go Gushers.
Okay, first one to say Gushers, and we finally come to Dan number 2.
Dean, I can play the music, but you won't be able to hear it because of technical limitations. So you just got to download and listen to the episode.
Or just sing the song in your head.
That's true. Or just sing any song in your head, really.
I'm humming it to myself.
Nice.
My milkshake's bring all the boys to the yard.
Gushers.
All the fruited sours to the
All
yard.
the fruited sours to the yard. My fruited sours bring all the white guys with beards to the yard.
That's true.
Yeah, that kind of checks out.
Hipsters to the yard.
Yeah, that's also true. I'm going to say Gushers, and fun fact, I know the person who owns the patent for Gushers.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah.
That is
Very
a very
random.
fun fact.
The sad
Very
fact
random.
for him, but it worked out in the end because he's fucking loaded.
Well,
Yeah, they paid him once for it instead of in perpetuity. So they bought it from him, but like it's his. It's his IP. It's his. He can claim it.
Oh, that's cool. So you may be surprised to learn that the two Dans gave different answers, but
And
are
we're
both correct.
Oh shit! I was kidding.
Yes.
What? Wait, what?
Dan, Dean, and other Dan are both correct because it's Gushers and Fruit by the Foot.
Oh my god!
In this beer, yes, it's called After School Perrt, which is a reference to something.
Cardi B.
Is that the
I
Cardi
was
B
gonna say
thing?
that sounds like a Cardi B.
It's After School PRRRT. Sure, I guess it's cool if you know what that's referencing. But it's made with what the brewers say is, quote, more Gushers and Fruit by the Foot than we ever thought we'd see all at once. And in parentheses, it was glorious. Each
But
batch.
did it really do anything? That's
Who
what
knows?
I want to know.
They put in 100 pounds of Fruit by the Foot and Gushers into each batch, plus 1,800 pounds of the aforementioned fruit salad that also went into it and probably drowned out any effect that the Gushers or Fruit by the Foot would have had on the beer. It's, of course, rounded out with a dose of lactose and sea salt and vanilla beans. In the brewer's
Gotta have the vanilla beans.
own words. Moving on to beer number 2, and we come to Ryan to guess. I did double check that he was still sitting where I thought he was. To guess first on this one. And next up is a beer that refreshes. That's called the beer that refreshes. It's from New York's Evil Twin Brewing. It's another sour ale, and it's made with cinnamon and marshmallows, which isn't in itself all that weird, but those ingredients were in fact an afterthought. The true aim of the beer was to mimic the taste of something we are all familiar with, though probably not with cinnamon and marshmallows. Is it cola, iced tea, or lemonade?
I'll go iced tea.
Going with the iced tea, Dan, part 1.
Cola.
Going with the cola, Mike.
I'm going to agree with cola.
Agreeing with cola, Sam.
I'm going to say cola.
All right, another cola. Dean.
Cola, iced tea, and what was the other option?
Lemonade.
I'm going to say, well, you know what? I'm going to say, well, can we pick 2? Because I have a feeling this is one of your tricks.
I mean,
No.
All right, well, I think I'm on to you there, Wayne, but I'm going to
Okay.
say iced.
iced tea. What would your second be out of curiosity?
I was going to say iced tea and lemonade for Arnold.
Arnold Palmer.
Palmer, yeah.
Okay. And finally, not finally, because we still have to get to Steph, but now, Dan, the sequel.
Tim.
I mean, what sequel am I? Am I Godfather 2 or am I like Rise of Skywalker?
Pick a thing.
Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, there we go. Cola. I'll go cola.
Going with lots of colas.
I'm saying lemonade.
Oh, Steph is the only brave soul that said lemonade, which is incorrect because the answer was in fact cola and only cola. Ooh. I will have you know. They call it a, quote, soda-style sour ale. And it has an appearance somewhere between an ice cream float and iced tea, which is why that was one of the options, because it looks like iced tea. Somehow the experimental brewers at Evil Twin were not happy with just making a soda-flavored beer and thought, cinnamon and marshmallows, why not? One drinker described it as like a bakery-spiced vanilla Coke spiked with a dash of booze.
Sounds like something Dan would
I
want.
want it. No,
Yeah.
I literally said I want it as you said that.
Sounds a bit extra.
Evil
All
Twin,
right.
huh?
I've
Evil
never
Twin.
had an Evil Twin beer I liked.
I don't know that I've had that many Evil Twin beers.
Yeah, I
think
might
I've
have had
like
a
one or
I've had
two.
a
if
good,
even.
a good number of them, and I have never
They do-
liked any of them.
They do come across as very like stunty, like gimmicky beers, which is
yeah.
why they're great for this game.
Okay.
I mean, maybe that's just a thing when evil is the first word in your brewery name.
Fair enough. Moving on to Dan, I was going to say original, but that's really not fair. That's really not fair.
I'm not taking that credit. That's
We're going to go to Dan in the orange shirt. And you're going to guess first. We're leaving sours for now, and we're heading into the land of Imperial Breakfast's pastry stouts. This is a collab beer from Listerman Brewing and Pontoon Brewing, which are from Ohio and Georgia, respectively. So how they got together, I don't know.
They just met somewhere in Kentucky.
There's these things called airplanes.
There are these things called airplanes. Yes. This is a 12.5% Imperial pastry concoction that includes sweet bananas, vanilla, maple syrup, various spices, lactose, of course, and in an effort to out-breakfast all the other stouts, a little something extra. Is it pancake mix, Nutella, or scrambled eggs?
Nutella.
Going with the Nutella. Mike, what do you think? Ooh, going with the pancake mix, Sam?
Nutella.
Going with Nutella.
Daniel.
Dean?
Yep, I'm going Nutella also.
Also going Nutella.
Just made Dan the happiest.
Dan in a blue shirt.
I'm going to go pancake mix
Dan
because I
with
know
the
it's
blue
terrible,
shirt,
but
blue
also
shirt, blue shirt,
pancake
Dan
works
with
with
the blue
everything
shirt
in there.
on.
Fair enough.
Dan
And
with the
Steph?
blue shirt. Sorry. What was the last option?
Scrambled eggs.
Ew. No, Nutella.
Nutella.
Anyone that would put pancake mix in their freaking beer, that's just dumb.
Or scrambled eggs.
Imagine the cleanup.
Finally, Ryan.
I just want to point out this is the worst game to play at Poor Man's ever. Like if we put fruit in a beer, it feels weird. Like, and everyone else does that normally.
Yep.
So I'm trying to make this rationally, and I'm thinking like pancake mix sounds like a horrible stuck mash. They all sound fucking shitty. I guess Nutella.
That is the crux of this game.
Watching his reaction through some of these descriptions is awesome. His facial reactions are just like, what in the fuck is doing this?
What?
And
It's like a parent watching a toddler do like dumb shit. Yeah, that's how I feel about
No,
this.
this isn't how it works.
No, you
This
put the
isn't how it
square
works.
one in the square hole.
Well, I have to tell you, everybody, that we have a bit of a situation here.
Oh, no.
Because the answer was pancake mix and
You
Nutella.
can't keep doing that to us.
It was pancake mix and Nutella. I really wish it was the eggs, because that would be so much more interesting.
I'm not going to lie. I want to try this.
But alas, it is not. The aptly named Atlanta Banana Pancake Cabana Imperial Pastry Breakfast Stout does not contain eggs, but does have an ingredient list as long as its fucking name. Holy shit. The result is a hazelnut banana pancake stack in a glass, and there is also a bourbon barrel-aged version, because of course
When
there
was this
is.
made?
The original is 2020. The barrel-aged was 2021.
All right.
Moving swiftly
Gotta
on.
make sure my flight gets a layover in Atlanta.
By
And-
the way, that was my most perfect TikTok ever because it ended with you saying that egg line.
Saying that egg line.
Follow us on TikTok at Beer Busters.
I'm so
All
proud
right.
of it.
So Mike is up first to guess on our penultimate.
There's the word.
Beer
You didn't
of
say the word
game.
last time.
It is penultimate. I apologize. I usually try to match the number of questions to the number of people playing, but I wasn't sure how many people were going to be here, and the answer is a lot, so I only have this and one more. Sorry. Mike, you were going to guess first on this one. Now we turn to a beer from Dogfish Head in collaboration with Oxbow Brewing. Dogfish is not a brewery that shows up in this game that often, not because they don't make weird beers, because they certainly do, but because most of the weird beers they make are pretty widely known. But this barrel-aged Saison is included here mostly because the name makes me giggle. It's made with honey, which is not that weird, and a little salty something extra that is a little bit odd. Is it pretzels, kelp, or soy sauce?
Oh boy. Given tonight's theme, I have to go with pretzels.
All right, going with pretzels. Sam, what do you think?
Still kelp.
What was that? I'm sorry. Kelp. Kelp. Going kelp. Sorry.
Kelp. Yep.
Dean?
Did you say kelp like the seaweed thing?
Correct.
Thank God someone explained it, because I had no idea what
yeah,
kelp
I'm
was.
going-
I'm sitting here like,
I'm going with
what?
kelp.
Other Dan was like, I don't know what kelp is. I'm glad Dean spoke up.
I was going with that by default.
Dan, did you know what kelp was?
I got it confused with krill in my mind, but yeah.
All right, you were close. What's your answer?
Oh, I'm going to go soy sauce.
Oh, okay. Breaking the trend, going with soy sauce, Steph.
Kelp, soy sauce. What was the other one?
Pretzels.
Jeez. Pretzels.
Going with the pretzels, Ryan.
Pretzels.
Also going with the pretzel, and finally Dan.
Kelp.
Going with kelp because he just learned what it is.
I'm pretty sure they did a seaweed beer.
And you are correct. It is
shit.
in
Good
fact
call.
I used to run a
kelp.
beer distributor. I do know what's in some of these beers.
Just don't always know where it comes from.
Hence why I haven't gotten one wrong.
You haven't actually have a perfect score so far. This is true. There was a time when putting seaweed in a beer was really strange. And maybe I'm just jaded by years of Googling weird beers, but it's not strange anymore. And normally that would barely crack the weirdness scale to be included in this kind of game. But because it's a barrel-aged Saison, which I think is a cool style, love Saisons, the idea of barrel aging them is cool. It's made with honey and kelp, and it's called Kelp I Need Some Honey.
I love it.
Presumably not just any honey. And
I
that
had
is
a
the
beer
only
once.
reason.
I had a beer once at the Dogfish Head pub, and it was called Hot Soup.
Yes.
I remember that one.
It was
yeah.
served with a carrot stick in it.
Yep. I was hoping that was what he was going to be talking about because that was delicious.
That was a great beer, and I love that it had a freaking carrot in it.
Yep, and it was served warm.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
It was a really good beer. Add that to your weird in my beer.
Pretty sure it made an appearance.
It may have, and also I know we've talked about hot soup
Oh my God,
on
yeah.
this podcast before. I try not to include beers that I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of. Okay, so we are at the final beer, so this is where we add up the scores to see where everyone stands to see who goes first,
We don't
second,
have to do
third.
that. It's okay.
And otherwise we don't, but we will. And dominating in first place is Bartender Dan with a perfect score, 4 points. Brother Dan is right behind with
Brother
3
Dan.
points, as is Dean and
take it.
Sam. Dean, Sam, and Brother Dan all have 3 points. Mike has 2. Ryan and Steph each with a single solitary point. So this is going to get
Oops.
really confusing. But we're going to start with Dan in the lead and then go to the people who are losing last and try to make it work. Dan.
Well, why don't you just start with Dan and go around the table, because then Ryan and I will be last.
Well, that's fair, but
yeah,
Mike
that's
has a lower score than Sam, Dean, and
Mike,
Dan.
do you give a fuck?
He does not.
I give 0 fucks.
Zero
Okay,
fucks.
He's gonna,
right
eat,
answer.
he's gonna eat an egg roll and give 0
They
fucks.
smell really good, and
They
I also have to
do.
pee. Okay, we end the
That's
game.
the name of the episode. They smell really good, and I
Fuck,
really
I
have
gotta
to pee.
pee.
We end by returning to the realm of fruited sours with a Berliner Weiss from the previously mentioned Pontoon Brewing in Atlanta, Georgia. They say this is their most famous beer to date, and it's got all the cool stuff like strawberries, pineapples, vanilla, and lactose, but that's not enough to garner fame. In order to turn heads and crank up the fruit flavor, they also tossed in hundreds of pounds of, is it Skittles, Trix cereal, or Mike and Ike's?
I stopped listening at some point.
That happens a lot.
I'm going to go Skittles.
Going with the Skittles. Mike,
What was the name of the beer?
not Ike. I did not tell you the name. For reasons.
Okay. I'm going to go with Mike and Ike's, since
Going-
that's my name.
Wait, what?
As you should, Mike. As you should.
As you should. As you should. Sam,
Going Skittles.
going with Skittles.
Oh, damn it.
Dean?
Yeah. Skittles, Mike and Ike, and what was the first one?
Yeah.
Trix cereal.
I'm gonna need you to go
And
ahead
what did
and
Orange
dump
Shirt
that
Dan
beer.
say?
Orange shirt Dan said Skittles.
Good
All right,
strategy.
I'm going Trix.
Oh!
Okay.
Not the way I was gonna play this.
Blue shirt Dan.
Silly brewer, tricks are for kids. Skittles.
Going with the Skittles. Steph?
Whatever that Dan said.
He what did he say? He said Skittles. I already forgot. Ryan, finally Ryan.
Tricks.
Going with Trix.
Because that's the one that makes sense, so it's gonna be wrong.
So Mike,
We all agree.
you are the only person who is incorrect.
Oh no!
My name failed me.
It did because
Wait, is it 2 again?
it's Skittles. It's Skittles
Damn
and
it, Wayne.
Trix cereal. Both in this beer. It is called Rainbow Smiggles.
Ew, no.
Your reactions to some of these are great.
Yeah, it sounds so it was made in collaboration with Sprayberry Bottle Shop. It features 300 pounds of
Sprayberry?
Skittles, over 100 boxes of Trix cereal, and 2 pounds per gallon of strawberries and pineapple.
This seems like candy abuse.
Yeah, it is. It is candy abuse.
So a couple years ago, I could be quoted on this podcast as saying, "We'll sell anybody with a check beer. I will not sell somebody with the name Sprayberry Bottle." I don't think Sam
Yeah.
will deliver there.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sam looks pretty straight-faced right there. I think he'll take the money.
I remember you saying that too. As soon as you brought it up, I was like, yeah, I remember you saying that. That's funny. That's funny. So we're adding up the scores real quick here, and we have an interesting situation. We have
to have at least a German sparkle
Well,
party.
here's what we have. We have one person who is unequivocally taken away first place. No surprise that it's new to the table, Dan, with a perfect score of 5 out of 5. We have a German sparkle party for second place.
I like German sparkle party.
And that is Sam, Dean, and my brother Dan.
Ooh, I'll take it.
Which each have 4 points
That's
apiece.
an appropriate German sparkle party.
Yes, it is. And then rounding out the Polish pickle parade with 2 points apiece are Steph, Ryan, and Mike.
Wait, there's 2 German sparkle parties?
There's 2.
I like German sparkle party.
When you have a million people playing the game, that happens.
I'm okay with this.
That happens, yes. Thank you so much for playing happy, fun time games. You get nothing for winning, and you escape punishment for losing
Oh my God!
this time around. And James Lamberg has just entered the building.
Oh my God!
James Lamberg has entered the building. I was about to read his name, too, because he's on our patron list.
No, please. We're playing the game. We had 2 German sparkle parties. Do you want to pick your sound clip? We're about to
Hi,
play the
James.
game.
Hi, James. So if you want to be like James and be a patron of the podcast, go to patreon.com/beerbusters and you might get your name read out, as we are going to do right now. We would like to thank the following very generous individuals for keeping this podcast train going, beginning with Jen McDonnell,
Holy shit, I like aliens.
PA Brew Review,
It's all about the nuts.
Eric Dixon.
Dan, right?
That's my favorite. My favorite clip. Dana.
It's metal.
James Lamberg.
Dan, you loser.
Chris.
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you.
I'm aware.
I'm pretty sure he's not the loser tonight.
Chris Mahoney.
Jalapeno.
Sean Sullivan.
Okay, we have to stay focused.
Oh, Jesus.
Is that Carol Stout?
That was Carol
That was
Stout.
Carol Stout.
Brian Mills.
Hold the door.
Jill Chivers.
Yay!
Well, the one and only that's no baloney, Joe Man Mansell.
I want to freeze it and just lick it on the porch.
And that's him. Topher Simmons.
I like clouds.
And finally, Ben Mengel. That's a weird one. As previously mentioned, if you want to find out how you get on this list and other cool behind-the-scenes perks,
We have a new patron.
go to patreon.com/beerbusters and sign up to become a patron of the podcast, and we'll shout you out even if you don't donate at a level that allows you to be shouted out every time. But the first time you become a patron, we will shout you out, even if it's only for $1, like our newest patron, Anthony Garcia. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
Anthony.
for becoming...
Oh, man. I'm going to play it again because... Shit balls.
There it is. Thank you for becoming a patron. Go to patreon.com/beerbusters to learn more about this, and now listen to some commercials.
Pause and save.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
Hey, Siri. What is Tagalog?
I found something on the web about what is Tagalog. Check it out.
Thanks. I was hoping you were going to be a little more articulate. Apparently, it's a language. Do you want to learn how to speak it? Well, if you do, Rosetta Stone can help. They set the standard in learning to enable people to change their world by learning a new language through innovative, technology-driven language learning solutions used by thousands of schools, businesses, and even the government. Millions of people around the world have learned to speak new languages with Rosetta Stone. They have common stuff like English, Spanish, and Mandarin. They also have more obscure languages like the aforementioned Tagalog, Swahili, and Swedish. They have apps available on iOS and Android, so you can take your learning with you. Also, for listeners of Beer Busters, they are offering a 24-month subscription for less than $8 per month. To get in on that offer, you can go to rosettapodcast.com/beerbusters. 2 years of Rosetta Stone, less than $8 a month at rosettapodcast.com/beerbusters.
I just like saying Zwickle.
I got Zwickled earlier when I was cleaning the tank.
Did you?
I
got
Zwickled
earlier.
Hardcore Zwickled.
Oh my gosh.
So we haven't had any something inside me tonight.
I mean, I was going to mention the egg rolls, which are now inside me.
What was the beer that was
We
called
should have
Something
said that
Inside
when
Me?
other Dan was
have
here.
that
Oh,
one.
we did have that
That
one.
was round 2.
We did,
Oh, right,
and we
right,
talked
right,
about
right.
it before
Yes.
Dan was on the show, and now we're talking about it
About it
after
again.
Dan
Yeah,
left.
we
was
did
the
House
Italian-
Lager first. Well, you guys did House Lager first, and then Sempre Inside Me, and then
Right.
Perspective.
Right.
I didn't
And
check
then
any of these in. Should I do
Now Puffed for I think pretty
that?
much.
What
everyone.
episode number is this?
240.
240.
The best Volvo ever made.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
one
this
right
is-
out front.
Right up front.
Man, all these plosives. So glad we have microphones.
They're onomatopoeias.
They wanted to name this beer. What the fuck was it supposed to be?
Oh, I'm using.
It was the worst name ever. This is a collab with Twisted Vine, and they wanted to name it.
I don't remember.
God,
that was really bad.
It was a horrible name. Puff Daddies.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was.
Puff Daddies.
Yeah, I was like, nah.
That might get you in trouble.
That's like real stupid.
Well, because it might get you in trouble.
Fair.
Yeah, we didn't do that. I saved Puff for when we make it by ourselves because I want to make a similar beer.
Puff without the T?
Yeah,
Is that
just
what you're saying?
regular Puff.
Okay, just regular Puff.
I'm really big on these like one-word short beer names. It's like my favorite thing for beers.
You should do some sort of play on the Magic Dragon, like Puff the
I was
Magic
thinking
Dragon.
that. Yeah. Puff the Mosaic Dragon.
I mean,
the
not
Mo.
everything has to be a pun or a reference.
No, it does. It absolutely
Puff.
does.
No, it doesn't.
Puff the,
This is a genius
Puff
beer
the
name.
Magic
I loved it.
Flagon and serve it in flagons.
I think you should take the U out though and just make it PFFT.
Well, then it's a fart.
No, it's a derisive sound.
It's an onomatopoeia.
Spell that, please.
I've done the Will Smith what?
Puns like keep my hops out of your mouth.
Keep my hops
I'm
out of your
sure.
mouth, yeah.
Last night, one of so the third round in trivia last night was they showed a picture from a movie. It was like a con man movie, and one of them was Will Smith at a poker table with some chick. We could not think of the name of the movie.
Was
so
it Bad Boys?
No. So we don't talk about Will Smith.
Nice.
You actually got the reference? Oh, you have a girlfriend now. That's why.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that is why, actually. and I have a fiance, thank you very much.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Jess. And she is quite fabulous.
She's amazing.
She's the best person ever. No offense to you guys. I like you too, but
I mean, I think you have to say she's the best person
That's
ever
fair.
if you're engaged to her. All right, where were we going with
Yeah,
this?
I don't even know.
I
So
don't know.
Puffed.
Stay puffed.
Mm-hmm. It's puffed.
So this is a I don't know at what point we actually got back into the recorded podcast that the public
I've
will
got
hear.
time to figure it out. It's fine.
But it's somewhere in the course of the last 5 minutes it happened. So Puff is a jasmine rice
Is a magic dragon.
lager, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, brewed with laurel hops. They're laurel noble hops. So it's the hops that are left over after they make cryo. So it's really low in alpha and really high in vegetable material. So it's like a subtle version of the hops.
And we were talking about this a little bit before we officially sat down to get back into the podcast. And I didn't realize there was like a byproduct in the cryo hopping process.
In the what process?
Cryo hops.
Cryo hopped.
There it is. Thank you. So how exactly does the cryo hopping work? I feel like we've talked about this on the
You just have to use half as many hops. Like if a recipe calls for a pound of hops, if they're cryo hops, you can use a half pound of hops instead.
But they're like freeze dried, right?
Yeah, it's like a
Well-
CO2 extract.
But do you like extract the oils and freeze dry
Well,
that?
it's not extracting the oils as much as it is removing the vegetable matter.
Right.
And then turning into a pellet.
What was this beer? We did Something Inside Me House Lager, and what was the other one you poured?
Perspective.
Perspective. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, continue.
No, you're good. And then, yeah, so this is what's left over after that. Then they repelletize it. So instead of being, I think laurel is like normally like in the, 11 to 13 range. This is like 2 to 3 alpha. So it's real subtle. So you get like kind of subtle version of the hop without too much bitterness. We're going to use it again. I want to use the Citra version and try that out in something, but I don't know what yet.
That's interesting. Do you think the characters that it imparts to the beer are like related to the cryo hopped /
Yeah, I think you get like the same character, just very like muted of it. I don't like the term muted because that kind of sounds like it's not flavorful, but like less in your face version of that hop.
So it's still the same
More
characters,
well
just
balanced.
subtle,
Yeah, exactly.
more subtle.
Yeah, it's more subtle character of that hop.
And I think when we're using the puff jasmine rice, you don't want something that's going to overwhelm that. So using the those hops really.
Yeah, I really like jasmine rice. I think it's like it's compared to flake rice, I think it's night and day. You get so much more flavor. The extract is better. I think the beers just turn out better too. Instead of that like macro lager flavor you get when you use rice sometimes, you get like more of a like craft version of that, if that makes any sense.
Like a little deeper, a little
No, that totally makes sense because
Yeah.
they say like to cook with the wine that you like drinking, because some people are like, oh, I don't like this wine, I'm just going to cook with it. But you want to cook with the wine you like drinking, so it makes sense to brew with the rice you like eating.
Yeah.
Jasmine rice is my favorite rice.
It's pretty good rice.
It's a very good rice.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we're talking rices.
If we're talking rices.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing to talk. Sam's off the podcast now, or he'd have a very strong opinion probably. It's not racist either, Sam, I promise.
No, because he's the food guy, not because he's the Asian guy.
No, he's fine. He'd be all right with it. He's not even the food guy. He just gets credit for that somehow.
He does 100% get
I know.
credit.
We were like, neither one of us was really kitchen like oriented when we started this place. And then, all right, so I probably shouldn't even say this. We should probably take this off the air. But the person who designs the kitchen recipes and everything totally now is Emily, my wife. She has made literally no food ever in our household.
Oh, this is staying in 100%. Emily, I 100% support you in this.
She does great. We've been together since 8th grade. She's cooked like 6 times.
Yeah, well, she knows when to cook, when it's going to make money.
Yeah, exactly. She does a really good job. But so she'll like make something and then come to Sam and I and we'll like tell her like what we would tweak about it, and she goes back and changes it and fixes it. So it's pretty impressive that she can make a commercial kitchen work without cooking like pretty much ever at home. But yeah, I'm getting real off subject at this point. But yeah, it's pretty impressive. Sam and I are not involved in the kitchen at all anymore. She comes out with a new food special every week, and it's all kind of like changing, and it's always really interesting.
Emily's kind of like the Joker, where he says, if you're good at something, don't do it for free.
Oh, that's a fair point.
Amen.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she is the smartest of all of you.
Oh, for sure. I mean, she's our general manager for a reason. She keeps everyone in check. We have like a Monday morning meeting where we call it Monday Monies. My previous job used to do the same thing. And we like basically figure out exactly how much money the company has. And then we set like a minimum threshold. So Sam and I know how much money we're allowed to like upgrade or spend with.
Right.
So M delivers that. so everyone is on the same page after she figures everything out for us.
She's the one who tells you how much money you're allowed to spend.
Exactly. It's like, all right, someone take Ryan's debit card for the week because I'm the one that's real bad.
That's funny. That's funny.
Because you're like, ooh, bougie jasmine rice. I want to buy it.
There's only one place that makes jasmine rice, puffed jasmine rice too. You can only get it from BSG, which I don't get grain for BSG, so then I have to like beg another brewery to order it for me, so I don't have to get a whole pallet of it. That would last me forever.
Interesting.
Well, luckily, okay, that's something I wanted to bring up earlier, and then we got on other tangents. There is quite the amazing community when it comes to the breweries in Lancaster County. Like, I was going to say the last time we were here, but I think we've been here a couple times since then. But one of the previous times recently that I was here, we ended up hanging out for hours because Francisco was here with his whole family. And and of course, Mike is here all the time. I know that he has family that lives close to you guys, but it's so cool how you just walk into here and owners/brewers from other breweries are just here hanging out because they want to come and have a few beers with their family or hang out with some friends. And that is really the vibe and the community, especially in Lancaster County breweries. So I'm sure that you reaching out to someone asking if they can throw some puffed rice on an order for you is no big deal. But talk about that relationship a little bit, and maybe even if there's any updates with the Lancaster County Brewers Guild, because I know you guys have that as well.
Yeah, the guild I think is a huge part of that. I'd like to think that Poor Man's can be a place where like brewers can come and hang out and feel like this is the kind of spot they want to hang out in, because we're offering quality beer, a lot of lagers, which most brewers can really get behind, and the place has zero pretension behind it. Like, we want you to come, feel comfortable. We don't want you to feel rushed to get out of here. There's not like a hostess or a waiter coming to your table to ask how you are and trying to get you out of here. This is a place that you can sit, have beers at whatever pace you want, and just hang out. And like, the music's not too loud. You can communicate. There's no TVs. There's none of that kind of bullshit that takes away from it.
It depends who's working the music.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's kind of like,
there was a pretty groovy playlist the one night we were here.
It might have been Sean.
It was bumping a little.
The music is loud when it should be.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's appropriately volumated.
Volumated.
But
You're welcome.
The guild has been awesome. It now has 23 members. For tiny county like Lancaster is insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a few members join. We have now had 2 full county-wide collabs. The second one is on tap at a lot of the breweries in Lancaster. It's a hoppy spring bock that was brewed here, and then we split up through 19 of the breweries were participating. And then we just launched, we are launching next Friday, so the 15th, I believe.
15th.
Yeah, the 15th, we're launching the Ale Trail. So you'll be able to go into any of the 23 member breweries, pick up an Ale Trail passport, which is passport sized, has information on how you redeem your prizes, and then has a page for every brewery. You go into the breweries, you get a stamp on each page for whatever brewery you visit. When you get to 5, whatever brewery you're at, you get a sticker. They sign it. When you get to 15, you take it to either Cartel Brewing and Blending in Lancaster.
Shout out to Adam. He's a really cool guy.
Yeah, Adam's a great dude. So we try to space it out so it was across the county. So you have Mooduk, Cartel, and then Poor Man's. You come in when you get to 15 and you get a pint glass that has the Guild's brand on it. And we sign it then. And then when you get to all 23, you go back to Cartel, you take your picture, and you get on the Wall of Fame on the website.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
We're going to keep that going. So we're going to do every time we get a new member at the end of that year, probably we'll reprint that, start it all over again, but you can redeem whenever you want. And that's been huge. And I mean, these guild meetings are something special because you don't really see this many. I mean, you take the brewery part of it away and just think of any industry. What kind of place in a county gets 23 of the same businesses together? Everyone talks about the same sort of stuff and shares things with each other. It's just weird. That doesn't happen in any other industry.
It's weird. It's weird that, having met a lot of people, obviously, in the years we've been doing this podcast, who own and operate small to mid-sized breweries, it's so weird that they all talk to each other and they all collaborate. We've said it a million times on the podcast, but it's still weird when you stop because to us, it doesn't brewing doesn't feel like a normal business the way a Walmart is a business or a Quickie Mart is a business, just because we've been doing this and talking to people for so long. So it's the place we inhabit. But when you take that step back and like you said, there's 23 businesses in the county all doing the exact same thing, and rather than competing, they're collaborating, which is amazing.
Exactly. It's pretty wild. And I mean, we just recently had some success, which is crazy, with the March Madness tournament. And that was announced on Monday that we won that at Poor Man's, and Tuesday we had our quarterly meeting, which was our second quarter of the year, at Mad Chef, and it was just the second person to come up and speak was Rob Tarvis from our town, and he just stopped, took a second, and wanted to just shout out the fact that we did that for the county.
Yeah,
and it wasn't necessarily just for us. I'm sure the fact that we won is going to draw just new people into Lancaster that's going to go to multiple places in that day, and we're all going to see some sort of traffic from it, which is really cool. Yeah, and they were pulling for us and getting votes too, which is awesome.
I also think that goes to why this industry is the way it is, because instead of being competitive, having another brewery in a small area really helps to bring people who otherwise wouldn't come to that area in.
Yeah, and that's why things like an Ale Trail, in other industries, it feels super gimmicky. When you get those coupon books where you can go to Papa John's and you can get this, or you can go to Arby's and you get this, and whatever, and it feels super gimmicky. Oh, okay, this is great. They're trying to make money and maybe I'll get a deal. But with Ale Trails and things like that, it's genuinely you are immersing yourself in the local culture. The breweries all know each other. They all collaborate. They buy rice for each other, because they don't want to buy a whole pallet of rice to make a batch of beer or whatever. And it just feels so much more genuine of a thing when there's that sort of collaborative effort between breweries, whether it's an Ale Trail, whether it's a collaboration beer, or whether it's a joining together on a charity or whatever. It's just such a different vibe. There's a cynicism to that kind of thing in other industries, and there's just not in beer, because it's genuine, which is really cool.
And it's super awesome to be part of this conversation right now, because I know that a lot of negative things have come out within the beer industry, especially over the last year. And we are very lucky here. And I hope that this is true for other parts of the country as well. But there are some really legit, awesome people in this industry and amazing breweries. And we're lucky to have them so close to us. I know that there is still this collaboration and this camaraderie within the industry, and just really, truly good people that a friend can reach out and say, hey, I have this friend that needs some support. Can we do a beer, a charity beer for him? And you guys are like, yes. And I know that there's so many other people within the guild and within this area that would have done the same thing. And it's just, it makes me feel like there's still hope for humanity because there's a lot of shit going on right now that makes us think that maybe that's not the case.
I think we also need to remember that shitty people tend to be the loudest.
That's the thing. And you hear the most about the shitty people.
Yeah.
And there are people in beer who are doing great things. There are people outside of beer who are doing great things. But you have to remember that there are good people inside basically any industry. But I mean, beer. We've said it for years. We'll say it again.
Man, I love being a turtle.
Exactly. But there really is that camaraderie. I mean, in what other industry do you have a quote unquote competitor who is willing to buy you rice that you can buy from them? Like that's huge. That's amazing.
But you know what, though? They're not completely competitors, and that's what makes this
right,
unique.
Right, well, that's why I did the quote-unquote.
Because if people are coming to Poor Man's, most likely they're going to go to St. Boniface, or they may drive into Lidditz or Lancaster and check out those breweries as well. And, I've done it, too. I'm traveling to a new city. The people I ask where I should go drink are the bartenders or the brewery owners. Like, they're the ones. And, so we know that we lift each other up and support each other's businesses as well.
I think the one thing that has pretty much not been touched on at all about Lancaster is there's a lot of poor pay in the brewing industry, and there's a lot of people that are working these really long hours that are underpaid in brewing jobs and cellarmen, packaging, that sort of stuff. That's not really happening in Lancaster that I know of, and I think I'm pretty well in tune with being president of the guild and talking to a lot of the brewery owners. The majority of the brewery owners are involved. There's not cellarmen that are or brewers that are being underpaid, being paid $10, $12 an hour like there are in Philly and Pittsburgh and Harrisburg, wherever it is. That's not happening in Lancaster, and I'm really proud of that. Before we ever decided we were going to hire a brewer on here, we decided that brewer was going to make the same amount of money as me because he was going to make the same amount of work. He was going to put in the same amount of effort as me.
Well, you could argue, too, that, not to cut you off, I'm so sorry, Ryan. The beer industry, I feel like, is part of the reason that Lancaster is being revitalized and is now a destination. Philly is a big city. There are other things to do there besides drink. Harrisburg is a city with a history. There's other things to do there besides drink. Lancaster, yes, there are other things to do besides drink, but the beer industry is arguably the reason most people will come to this area because we've heard so many good things about the breweries in this part of the state. And that's awesome. And it's a huge, huge, huge boon to the entire economy of the area. And it's awesome. It's amazing.
Don't forget the pretzels.
And, of course, the pretzels. You can't forget the
whoopie
pretzels.
Pies.
Oh, the whoopie pies. Oh, my God. So the food and the beer. But no, I that's great that you're willing to, pay the cellarman and everybody the same kind of wage. Because I know people who work in the service industry down in Philly, and they're not as lucky.
Yeah, it's tough. And maybe it speaks to the part that, like, the businesses here are different than the businesses are in Philly. Like, we're also wholesaling. There's a lot of places that are wholesaling, doing things like that. Cost of living is different. So I don't necessarily kind of pigeonhole it into one small thing. But it's just something I'm proud of Lancaster of, that they're, from what I understand, and I hope I'm not missing something, but from what I understand, there is not breweries out there that are underpaying their staff in Lancaster and mistreating their staff and overworking them. It's not happening from what I understand. And I'm really proud of that. Like even our bartending staff at most of these places that I know of are being paid a lot better than the bartenders at the corner bar down the street. Yeah. There's minimum set for if there's slow nights. There's good hourly wages. A lot of people are getting into being able to offer health care now that that's getting easier for smaller companies. It's just, I think that is the most important thing that is possibly not being talked about in Lancaster.
Yeah.
Is the treatment of employees from all of our member breweries.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And I know Dean is still on the Zoom, and Dean, I want to loop you back in. You've worked at multiple breweries in the area. I mean, is that something that you've seen and you've experienced? Is that it's...
He's also currently bartending for Poor Man's.
Exactly.
I didn't know if you knew that or not.
No, I did, believe it or not.
Yeah, that is definitely something, what Ryan's saying, I can definitely attest to that too. I mean, yes, I've worked at quite a few breweries in Lancaster County, and they all take care of us very well.
And as a consumer, it is really cool to walk into a restaurant or bar or brewery and recognize the people behind the bar. Like, I love that almost every time I'm in here, Dan is behind the bar, and I know he knows who I am, and I know he's going to give me shit, and I love it. And the fact that you guys are treating your staff so well, it benefits us as the consumers as well, because that familiarity, it's nice. It's really cool to walk into a place and they recognize you.
Yeah, that's the greatest. I mean, I love Mug Club Night is Wednesdays here. All our Mug Club members are in because you get a 12-ounce beer for free, so it's usually pretty busy. We have 100 Mug Club members. I will open up my phone at home and I'll pull up tabs, and there may be 45, 75 tabs at a time, and they're all first name with an initial. Like, that is something special. You don't get that in, like, a super busy place besides a little town like Ephrata. It's awesome. Those people are coming in, they're ordering the same beers. Our bartenders already know what they want. They don't even need to ask their name. They're just starting a tab for them, which is sweet. I think that's the coolest thing.
Yeah, and down by us in Philly, I can't think of any breweries, honestly, that have a mug club or any kind of membership club. It's just...
How are we not Mug Club members here?
Yeah, how are you not Mug Club members here?
I will say I joined the Rememberers Club at the Referent. They bought a farm in Kutztown. It is the first time I've ever joined
they bought a farm in Kutztown?
Some sort of membership or club for a brewery. So it is the first time. So we will see. I kind of feel like I need to be a Mug Club member here.
Probably should be a Mug Club
definitely
This is probably the
should be.
brewery I come to more than any other brewery.
And
So
just-
that may need to
yeah,
happen.
and you should be a Mug Club member. And when you come in, Dean can pour you your beer. And you know,
Dean doesn't work on Wednesdays. He works on Sundays and another day. I
All
don't
right, so
usually go.
also
What
come
nights
in-
do you work, Dean?
Just Sundays right now.
Just Sundays?
I'm coaching 2 baseball teams, so that kind of ties me up during the week.
Damn it, Dad. Yeah, see, Sunday is
Well, see,
usually the
this is
day
the
I
thing.
try to be dry. Oh,
This
but
is
not
the
this
thing.
Sunday. We're meeting up for brunch at a brewery on Sunday. Damn it.
Fair
I
enough.
try to have one day a week.
This is the thing about Dean is he's always too busy being an amazing person.
Yeah, well, no, he's a really, really, really,
Yeah.
really, really good dad.
So we were trying to get... I mean, the bartenders have been super into the bracket the entire time this March Madness thing has been going on.
Holy shit, Dean was sharing it like every freaking day.
Well, the Brews
on
with
all
PA
of his
guys
socials.
were telling us, like, you guys are getting so many more shares. It's like, it's all the bartenders, pretty much. Well, we told them coming up to, like, I think it was, like, a couple days before. I don't remember exactly. We're like, if we win, you guys all get 8 hours PTO. Every single person gets a whole...
that's the
whole day's
sweetest.
PTO.
That's cool.
So yeah, I mean, even some of the guys were like Angel, who's bartending tonight, was like, I want to turn my 8 hours PTO back into the company so we can have a huge party.
Oh,
So
that's
it's-
great.
Yeah, they've been so super cool.
Aw.
You hear that, Dean? You got to donate your PTO.
We're gonna have a party, Dean. You keep it.
No pressure, no pressure.
Hey, I know from experience, when your boss is offering you free money, you got to take it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Amen to that too. I hear you. Should we wrap this and get into
Yeah, I was
last call?
going to say, I know Dean was texting me saying that
I
he's
wanna
gotta
drink the
head out
Fultonator.
too. Yeah, I do too. We've got a Doppelbock coming
I'm
up in the last
excited
call
for
that
it.
I can't wait for. Well, I mean, this has been absolutely incredible, and
My heart is so happy. You have no idea.
Yeah.
This
It's-
I have missed this so much.
the Zoom podcasts were perfectly fine and fun.
They
and everybody
are.
we talked
We're
to,
still gonna be doing them
of course,
for a bit,
of course.
but-
It's,
They are
it's
very
not going
convenient.
anywhere, and it is convenient because I get to drink
You could
whatever
be
I
home
want.
in
just
5 minutes for
walk
a
upstairs
podcast.
and walk and pass out in bed. But it was very long overdue. I'm glad we were able to do it. Not only
I'm glad it was poor man's. I mean,
Hell
and that's the thing.
fucking
You
yeah.
guys
are
are
awesome.
awesome. But I'm glad we did
There's
it
not a lot of.
here.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
No,
you
you're
again.
good.
There's not a lot of breweries. Like there's a short list of people that come to mind when I think about people that we can talk to like for real. And like you guys are on that list. Ethan, obviously,
Oh,
Stick
yeah.
Man is on that.
Yeah.
There's other people on that list, but like Poor Man's is one of those breweries. Where, like we come to Poor Man's, I don't worry about what we're going to talk about.
Oh God, no.
no,
I don't
I
worry about,
literally.
like-
you look in the folder for this episode. There are zero notes.
There's no notes.
Because we just know we're going to talk about cool stuff, good
We're just
stuff
gonna
with
talk
great
to
people.
cool people.
I
in
want
our
to
conversation.
backtrack a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm going to take us like way back, like five minutes. The employee treatment thing. I know I'm like harping on this over and over again.
No, please do.
Ethan is the perfect example of that. So I remember talking to him. This is probably like 3 years ago, and he was telling me every single full-time person in his place was being paid $15 an hour and was getting paid health insurance. And that
That's
just does
big, the
not
health
fucking
insurance.
happen
Right,
in here.
right.
And I was
Particularly
like,
the
this
insurance.
is so impressive, man. Like, of all the things that Stickman has probably ever done, every GABF, whatever, that is the most impressive thing to me. So I don't want to like keep harping on this employee treatment thing, but I like a shout out to Ethan for figuring that the fuck out because I haven't been able to figure out the insurance thing yet. But that is so impressive.
And it's the sort of thing that has absolutely no public-facing benefit.
No, not
like
at
other
all.
than your employees being happier, which
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah.
But like nobody knows that if you don't tell them. Like you don't. I'm sure they don't have signs up.
You know
like,
what? You know what that
all
comes
our employees
from?
have health insurance. Like
That comes from someone who's been in that
Yeah.
position, who cares about their employees.
Yeah.
That
Who
doesn't
knows
come
what
from
it's
someone
like,
who
yeah.
opened up a brewery,
Right.
who wasn't in a position of being a service industry person. Ethan was a service industry person. And I've worked a lot of shitty, low-paying jobs in my life. So you have to come from that side to appreciate your employees. If you don't, then you don't appreciate your employees. You get turnover. I mean, I don't want to sound like a dick right now, but you don't become the best brewery in the state. You don't win that class that we just won by treating your employees like shit.
No, you don't.
Because they don't treat their customers as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It comes
And they
full
don't
circle.
share it on their social
Exactly.
media like
Yep.
your,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
staff did for
Yeah.
you.
Exactly.
And I know that Ethan has been on our show many times, and he can come across as much.
Yeah, he's just opinionated.
I
but he's
I
always,
fucking love Ethan.
But
No,
he
I
is
think-
really fucking smart, and he has a big fucking heart.
Yeah,
he
is
does.
really-
He does.
And he has the most thoughtful opinions that have ever been
Yeah,
expressed
that's
on this
true.
podcast.
Yeah.
And they come quick.
Bar none.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yeah,
just
they-
he just
they come
knows
super
what he
quick.
thinks. He knows what he's talking about. He's got a take, and it makes sense every time. And if he doesn't have a take, he'd be like, I don't know what the fuck that. I don't know anything about that.
Yep.
And that's fine. And he's a good dude.
Yeah, and sometimes it just takes other people a little bit to catch up.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
he
good point.
started doing all this way younger than most people.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
That's
Which
do you have the sound clip? You don't gotta be 21
not
to
that
buy
one,
malt
no.
stuff.
No,
That's a good one.
I don't have that,
That
one.
should be a sound clip.
That is a
on
good
there.
one. That is a
You're
good one.
you're welcome to go back through the episodes and find it.
Well, if you're interested in following us on the internet, we're at Beer Busters on Instagram and Twitter.
I want
And
somebody
We
out
are
there.
Beer Busters Podcast on Facebook. We're also on TikTok, which I posted a pretty fucking impressive TikTok video tonight, people. So you
We're
probably
TikToking.
should TikTok us because I'm
talk
really
shit.
proud of it.
Gen Z, subscribe.
I'm really trying to work on Reels too. So if you know something about Reels, you can send me some feedback and help me get better at that. I have a milestone birthday coming up this week, and I'm trying to prove that I'm not as old as I really am.
I think I'm ready to be old.
Beerbusterspodcast.com, patreon.com/beerbusters, and /shop us and buy shit.
/shop us and buy shit. Yes.
The slash
Rate
shop
and
goes
review
after
all the podcasts you listen to. including ours.
Beerbusterspodcast.com/shop. Did I get all of it?
You did just you did Don't worry.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan with the blue shirt. Dan with the
Oh
blue
my
shirt
God.
on.
Well, obviously, with Dean, I know you got to roll, man. I'm not going to hold you any longer than you have to. Thank you for joining us on the Zoom. It's always a pleasure talking to you, man. You find a way to be such a cool guy while being such a great dad to your kids, and still doing really cool stuff. And thank you for everything.
Guys. No, thank you. I can always count on Beer Busters. Any type of charity event I have, I know I can count on you guys. And I do just want to echo too. I know Shannon's not on anymore, but I've known Shannon for about 6 or 7 years now, and he's just a good person. And from what he's told me about his son, his son was a great young man too. And I know this means so much to Shannon. I can't thank Brian enough either, and Sam. Obviously being a home brewer and taking it seriously like I do, my recipes mean a lot to me, and definitely having someone like Ryan, who I look up, as far as I look up to his beer and know that he's going to take good care of it. So that means a lot too. So, we're looking forward to the beer coming out, and we'll keep everyone posted on the other breweries that are carrying the beer, but we're excited about it. So no, thank you guys for having me on again. It's always a pleasure. Likewise,
and anytime, and keep up the amazing work. And you better win championships from the 2 teams that you're coaching.
We'll try. These 6 and 7-year-olds, they can be a handful, but we'll get them whipped into shape.
If anybody can, I know it's you. Dean, thank you as always, my friend.
All right, guys, I'm signing off. Cheers, and thanks again, everyone.
Absolutely.
Of course,
Thanks for
cheers
talking
to
to
you.
you.
We also got to say, of course, thanks to Mike and Ryan for having us here. This was amazing. It was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys, for being here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And, of course, thank you to Shannon and to Sam, who were on the Zoom, who had to drop earlier, and, of course, Dean, who we just said goodbye to. Steph already mentioned all the soch and everything. Wayne mentioned, too, leave a rating or review for whatever podcast app of choice you listen to us on, but do that for all the podcasts.
And tip your fucking bartenders, and
Yes.
tip them a lot.
Yes, exactly. But this does, unfortunately, bring us to the end of another episode.
I don't know who it was, but there was a staff member walking by as you
I
said
think it was
that.
Brandon.
And he smiled, so he's like, yeah, please do.
Yeah.
He's having a baby on Sunday.
Oh, congrats.
Him and his
Tip-
wife, him and
tip-
his wife Megan.
Tip Brandon 100%.
Yes.
Yes, definitely do that. No, this was a lot of fun. There's no other brewery I think I would want to do our first in-person recording in 2 years. Than you guys here at Poor Man's. And the beers are always fantastic. I got to try the fucking egg rolls. They were great, man. Thank you for...
There's still 3 left.
They're very good.
I know. Well, my name is Dan Baker. I'm joined by my co-host and brewologist.
Steph Hefner.
And the demented and fermented...
Wayne Baker.
Squids.
Buns. Kleenex. I don't know.
Chinese cheeseburger?
Chinese cheeseburger. Yeah, what's that all about?
Lucy's?